Well, good morning and welcome to Let's Play. Today we are taking our last look at the game Disco Elysium, although I guarantee it won't be the last time I open this game because I'm really curious to see what happens next. So I'm going to wander over this way, see if there's anything I missed. We're just going to, pretty much see everything we can possibly see. Who are all these people? Oh, I can't seem to talk to any of them though. Bet you that's that kid's dad. I can't get past them either. They look like workers on strike or something. Protesters. Maybe protesting the union? Protesting for the union, who knows? Well, who are you?
I am a gander and a hunter and a gatherer. Feel like a traveler.
The man mutters to himself, accenting the beats as he goes.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
Keep listening.
From another planet. Hey there.
What's going on here?
It's the jam, my man.
He motions towards the sprawl of lorries with a sweeping gesture. What's the jam?
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, an all-around clusterfuck. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Upon days.
Limbo, huh? So that's where I am.
Yeah, exactly.
It's official. He too agrees. This is the antechamber of the afterlife.
So, how long have you been here?
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout.
Extravagantly phrased, but I can roll with it.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already.
He snickers.
So tell me, what do you need?
Tell me more about this strike.
It's like whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out.
What's the union demanding?
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town too. Like a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
What do you think the company wants?
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
Anything else I should know?
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. All of us do.
All of who?
Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really.
Not you?
Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
He glances down the road towards the horizon, a glint of something in his eyes.
What's better than chasing transient pleasures? The more transient, the better. When one's ended, you can get onto the next one.
Know anything about the dead man, the one hanging behind the hostel there? Point at the yard.
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. Keep him busy.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
All right, never mind then.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
What are you hauling anyway?
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Okay, and what are you actually hauling?
Can't even get a few jokes past you, my man. I've got another haul of Fallon cargo. Mostly sporting goods, tracksuits, and that kind of thing. They usually get shipped to Grad in the Occident, though we've been making headway in the Ilmaran market lately.
Can I get one of those fallen tracksuits you're hauling?
We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy.
All right.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
And care to spare some change for working stuff?
Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished work.
They who?
The bosses, man.
Makes sense. First work, then pay.
Makes sense. It sucks is what it does.
All right, I'm good for now. Good talk.
Don't be a stranger.
Okay. So that was less than helpful. I don't think we ever have found his shoe. See if we can't find that. First off, we need to figure out where is this window that's broken. All right, so we're in the inside. Oh, wait. What do we got? A woman's hand wrote yesterday's menu. Today's starts in a man's handwriting.
You should totally sing karaoke here, the first chance you get. Your emotions need to be expressed. People need to know your vast, oceanic soul.
And my soul's cubic content is obscured by the hangover.
Of course, at this point, precise measurements of your soul can only be performed from the outside. It needs to be heard through a PA system by other people, whether they like it or not. Ram it up their ears, says your adrenaline gland. Violently express yourself.
What should I sing when it comes to it?
You have not yet stumbled on the right lamentation, but it's out there. It'll come to you. You will wreak havoc with it. Don't worry.
I was thinking maybe I could sing something happy, get the people going.
No. Don't sing the happy song. It's stupid. Sing the sad song. It's profound. You have to find something tragic to sing first, though.
Okay. That was pretty random. Oh, what do we got here? Summer door closed for the winter. All right, so the door out is that way. And the broken window okay, so he threw the shoe out that way. Which means I should be able to find it out there somewhere. Kim tries not to look at your broken down bathroom door.
Kim also tries not to look at the pile of take viscera on the carpet, or the weird suitcase on the hat rack, or the potted plant dying in the corner. But it's all just too morbid to ignore.
You're looking at the destruction?
He nods.
Say nothing. Nod stoically.
He takes a step toward the door, like he'd like to leave.
All right, so Kim is not particularly comfortable in here.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful.
The option to go to sleep becomes available every night after 9 p.m.
Not time to rest yet. I have to wait another 2 hours. At least it didn't say I wasn't going to be allowed to go to sleep. Nothing on the front page rings a bell. Strange. Okay, so the window faces this way, which means the shoe should be out here somewhere.
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
You can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the time when Lieutenant Kitsuragi is gone.
Oh, we got here. Damage looks like it could have been caused by an earthquake. Okay. A lot of things, but no shoe anywhere.
Son, you've really let yourself go. It's a disgrace. But Coach Physical Instrument is going to get you back in prime condition, even if it takes 1,000,000 push-ups.
Coach, Physical Instrument. Does that mean you'll call me a maggot and Nancy boy to not motivate me?
Does a master swordsman insult his own blade? No. I'm going to turn you into an athletic benchmark, you big pussy.
Yes, sir. Forge me into an organic steel coat.
It's going to take blood, sweat, piss, and tears. But when I'm done with you, boy, you will be a master athlete.
All right, let's do this, Coach. I'm with you.
Behold, world. Here walks a sportsman, hands chalked and hair kept back with a bandana. The Homo Athleticus.
All right, so what we got here? Temporary research bonus -2 encyclopedia intense workout. We're gonna lose the little encyclopedia, but all right, let's see what happens. It's actually a quest to sing karaoke. Car tracks leading onto the roof, the slush and rain has almost washed them off. An ancient fountain. It doesn't pump water anymore. There's a tree in it. Oh, what now? A sewer grate, a gateway to the rivers of filth. This definitely not a let's go speed run this game. Roy's Pawn Shop, fast cash for faster times. I don't have anything to pawn, but okay. Water lock out of order until Wednesday, 7:15 a.m.
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything.
Okay.
Good morning to you, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the waterlock and on an enormous billboard that has fallen down into the canal between them. His posture is relaxed. Despite his powerful build and a knife in his hand, this man resorts to physical intimidation only infrequently, if at all.
You know what caused this wreckage? Point at the smashed billboard in the canal.
I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird, huh? Then again, plenty of daredevil drivers in Rivershell.
The words "daredevil driver" sound ominous to you.
Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here, especially a water lock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then.
Do you know what's further down the coast?
Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Not much use to the congregation, though. There always seems to be something wrong with it.
He thinks for a moment.
Yeah, not really much else. Just bombed out ruins.
Can I have some of that salami?
Sure thing.
He cuts off a slice of salami.
Want some too, officer?
He turns to the lieutenant.
Why not?
The lieutenant ponders the offer for a moment, then decides to go for it. He takes a slice of salami from the man and chews it. Well, that was very kind of him. So, do we have a piece of salami now? Items. Well, I don't see anything in there. Maybe you already ate it. I can't see what it says. Butter sign down. Okay. There's just so many little things to interact with. Some of them rather odd. This game is very unique. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious at this point. I'm really liking it. Now, I saw something down here I wanted to interact with. Oh. Hear the distant squall of seabird. A splatter of bullet holes lines the wall.
Yes?
Nothing. Well, that would be something I could tell the lieutenant and he could write it down in his little notebook, but I guess not. Oh wait, what's this? A plastic bag. I have gained an item, which I should now equip. Okay. Let's see. Oh, good. Now we can make 2 pennies. I don't know where we're going to sell them at, but we've made progress. I mean, he does need money pretty badly. Funny thing is, I have no clue what I'm doing, even after seeing somebody talk philosophically about this game. It was very interesting. It might have been a tiny bit spoilery, but since I'm very early on in the game, I would have honestly no clue. Which is good. Contains 10 bottles. Wait. It's not just automatically giving me the money, is it? No, it just says contains 10 bottles. Well, this is quite the mess here, isn't it? Okay. Can we get through this? Oh! That would have never thought to do that. Old slogan, Humanox covers the truck. Foreign car kept in good condition. The lorries probably stored fuel here, now they store booze. Oh, we managed to get around the crowd. It says GRIH. Okay. Yeah, the music kind of got tense there, didn't it? You can't go in there. Okay. Yeah, these people are not very happy. Can't blame them. All they want to do is work. Now they're not being allowed to work. And the time has not changed. I'm wondering if I need to do something specific to get the time to move forward. There's our young lady who's still there trying to sell books. All sorts of teeny tiny things that I keep missing. I've seen that. Okay. How many do we have now? 18. Yeah. That's barely enough to cover a single meal, much less the damage he has to pay for. But it's a start, I guess. Still don't know where I'm supposed to sell them at. Oh, is there somebody here to talk to, or it's just... That's just the walk marker, okay. Girl still up there? She is. Looks like there was more construction here once, decades ago. What, are you still over here getting drunk?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
What can you tell me about this strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
What is your role in this precisely?
I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Tell us more about this behemoth.
What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organisation now.
And how were the talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike?
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
What happened to this Gaumont? Come on.
Mr. Clare told him to, how did he put it?
She pauses to compose herself.
Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Huh. Okay, then.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union.
And what are their demands?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh, yes. Every worker, a member of the board.
Seems like they have no idea about business.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board.
What does that even mean?
It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about what? About anything, really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
Workers can't be kings. The king is king.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start.
What are you going to do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
Tell me about this union boss, Mr. Clare.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
Is he that bad?
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Wait, there are two of him?
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
What about the union itself, outside the Brothers Clare?
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
She hesitates, looking for the right expression.
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother.
She turns to you.
And your opinion, detective, if I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
Okay, so we can choose an effective advocate for the rights of local working men, a giant leech sucking the life out of Revachol, basically a socialist mob, or I prefer not to have an opinion on these things. The union itself might be fine, but under its current leadership, I would say it's a giant leech sucking the life out of Revachol.
Indeed. And a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers.
One more thing. You said something happened in the elections.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Eerie.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
The scabs at the gate. You put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock come to plead for work where the Union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
It's implied she's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
That's all I need here. Let's change the topic.
Of course. How else can I help?
I got some more questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
What is this acute encephalopathy?
It's a neurological disorder caused by lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
What causes it?
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
It's definitely the drinking.
She nods slowly. What this boils down to is, this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint, grab a bottle, and drain that shit right down your throat.
I'll wipe that urge from your mind and get back to reality.
She stares at you, head tilted to the side, with a slightly concerned look on her face.
What is this? Spread your hands.
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
Am I really that awkward?
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
I meant, what is this place here?
Ah. This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or 2.
What is the Rue de Saint-Ghislain 33A?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
She looks up at the crumbling facade.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in them?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Splat, splat.
From a dilapidated balcony, Cindy the Skull gives Joyce the evil eye, her red paintbrush held to her throat.
Wonderful.
What is that? Points Cindy the Skull.
The girl in the old lady rags.
Yes.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture.
Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
Make it, I understand everything, make it more complicated somehow.
I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. All right, what next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
Let it go.
Of course, no time for silly infracultures. There are more pressing, reality-centric questions to be asked.
What are you?
What I am not is a basic term of reality.
All right, that's all for now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
What can you tell me about this lynching?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
You fall silent for a moment, contemplating something.
The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Remember when I told you I literally cannot remember even the most basic facts about reality?
How can I forget?
One of those facts is where my badge is. Another is my name.
I was hoping your condition was rhetorical, Detective. A questioning technique.
I wish it were.
I have sympathy for your highly unusual condition, sir, and I believe you. But as it stands, I cannot share any confidential information until I've seen both your badges.
I understand the dictates of protocol, ma'am, but is there no way around it?
I'm afraid not, Lieutenant. These are my employer's orders.
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
How do I negotiate my way out of this?
Feelings will guide the way.
Failed. But, madam, I need to know about this lynching. It's very important to me. It's the case I'm
I
solving.
assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
You have so much else. I have only this. Spread your hands. This is the entirety of my existence.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
This boat, for example, in a home somewhere, and I only have this case.
Officer,
I don't remember anything except this lynching. There's only this post and this lynching.
you know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something back. More than just guilt.
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting in. Somehow.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something tangible.
Like what?
The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbour. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to the RCM either. Perhaps it's time to look into it. Or you can find your badge, which honestly seems like a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Excuse us for a moment, madam.
Knowledge, physical instrument.
Oh, plot complete.
Wait, how did you know all those hammer throw techniques? How do you know how to hold a discus? Or the world youth record in discus? Something doesn't add up here. This mushy thing between your ears didn't know the name of the city you're in, but it comes loaded with trivia about the correct chin position of a shot football. Could it be that? Shut up, namby-pamby. This train of thought ends abruptly. It's leg day. Straighten your rhombus muscle. It's shirts versus skins. Take your shirt off, Namby. Your skins.
Okay. Well, that seems to have worked in our favor, and we've gained a little something. We lost one encyclopedia, but gained 2 physical instrument if shirt slot is in. Okay. All right. What did you wish to say?
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
How did you hope it would go?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, not volunteer us to be her henchman.
So we're her henchmen now.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
We could just, find my badge.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months.
What do you propose, that we don't investigate the drug trafficking?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
Well, let's go back to her then.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Okay, tell me about this alleged drug trafficking.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Well, let's get this straight. The materials come from Samara to Revachol through the terminal.
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut.
And you want us to investigate?
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
Am I going to need bolt cutters for this?
Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once the ingredients reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they may be vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
She gives you a knowing look.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
No coincidence the lorries are stranded there like that, is it?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However,
She pauses, looking to the sea.
this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue.
She looks north.
Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wandered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
Okay, I made up my mind about the smuggling investigation.
Yes?
We'll take this case, probe the drivers, see what it yields.
Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Takes another long sip from her seemingly bottomless thermal cup. Seem rich. Can I have some money?
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it?
What? Why not?
Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub.
What lustrous hair?
A well-kempt, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair. Despite the first hints of grey, she's elected to keep it au naturel, shaped into a permanent wave, late 40s style, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry, wealth and all its possibilities. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say everything is possible.
Yeah, so?
Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor, poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too.
What is this feeling? I've never felt it before.
Shame? You haven't really been in the presence of gentlefolk either, have you? What shame is there to be felt in front of these dock workers, cops, and hotel clerks, but to belittle yourself in these eyes of Odinin?
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you, that's all for now. Okay. Well, I mean, we tried. What's in here? Magnesium? Oh! That healed us a little bit. Hey, that worked. So, we actually got a lot further than I expected just by wandering around and talking to people. And it really is a fascinating game. One that I will be continuing after we move on to the next one. Let me know, have you ever played this game? Would you play this game? And why? Or why not? And what are we playing for next month? Well, stay tuned and find out. Until next time. Bye for now.